Good evening. It's time to harvest some. You can do a lot of gardening without a lot of specialized tools. If you're going to plant salad, one of the tools that's really nice to have that I think makes it more likely that you're going to use your harvest is a salad spinner. Haven't actually planted any lettuce this year. Everything I'm about to harvest is volunteer from last year's seeds that have been dropped from our plants going to seed. There's a lot of dirt around the outside of the leaf from just water splashing back up. So the salad spinner just makes it so much easier to get a more enjoyable product. Now a lot of times I'll just take like some of the outer leaves and leave the inner leaves, but these are some lettuce plants that are like right along the pathway. And so I feel like if I leave them, they're just gonna get stepped on. Also, they're kind of close to our cabbage. So figure might as well just harvest the majority of it before it gets stepped on or it just gets too close to the cabbage. There we go. I don't know that we need more than that for a couple salads to go with our Mother's Day dinner today. Now the other thing we're having for dinner tonight, whoops, from our garden at least, is some roasted radishes. Now, all of those clumps of green are volunteer radishes from last year. I plant radishes to just purposely let them blossom, draw in the pollinators, and then they go to seed, and then they make a lot more radishes. That's all radishes there. Now, they are planted a little too tight, so they're not going to be as large as they might be if they weren't as crowded, but they also planted themselves. So let's see what we have. Oh, there's a good clump. Can you see those? The seed that these came from originally was Easter basket radishes, so it's like a big variety, different kinds of radishes, lots of different colors. Look at all that, isn't that beautiful? There are two of the best dogs on the face of the planet. Can anybody guess what my husband's cutting up right now? Dad, I didn't get one yet. Oh, okay. All right, I just planted some yellow beans along the side. My daughter claims she tried beans at school, dipped in ranch, and she likes them, so I will plant a bunch if she's willing to eat them. But I planted them along my tomatoes, and that's something that a lot of times you're told, plant your beans next to things that like nitrogen. But that's one of those things, it's not a this year kind of thing. They do fix nitrogen, but what you want to do to get the nitrogen in your soil is after the plant's done in the fall to cut it off and leave the roots in the soil. So last year in this bed, I had some beans planted on either side. When it was time to harvest them, I snipped them off and left the roots in the ground. That is what leaves the nitrogen in your soil. So when you're planting beans in your garden to help with nitrogen, you're leaving the roots to help with next year. I don't believe that it helps this year. According to the things I've read, heard, researched, all of those things, that's what it does. So one, there's a little bit of space, especially with pruning my tomatoes, to have a little bit growing along the side. I spaced them out, so that should work just fine. So we had roasted radishes tonight in our salad. We had asparagus from a local farmer's market and fresh greens out of our garden. Lovely dinner along with some mac and cheese, because that's awesome too. Here comes Nala girl. So thanks for joining us in the garden today. Hoping to get an evening where weather and time allow to do a little garden tour. We planted 5 Romas in this bed over here. That's what you saw me do earlier. They are the only kind of tomato that I plant that's a determinate. They grow to a determined size, set a determined amount of blossoms, and a determined amount of fruit. For that one, you get most of the fruit at one time. So last year we grew Romas. We really enjoyed the sauce that came out of them. So we're planting a few more Romas this year. I've got this bed. I'll be planting some in another bed. I'm going to be trying to trellis them with the Florida weave, which I will demonstrate later. So garden's coming along. There's things that are further along than I normally would expect. There's things that I would like to have in the ground that I don't yet, but isn't that life? Life and gardening. There's always things you wanted to get to you didn't get to, and there's some things you have done that you're pretty excited about. So that's where we're at for this Western Pennsylvania evening in May. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in a video soon.